This is Mr. Bino from We Speak America. I am in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America. It's a really good time to be here because next year is the presidential elections of 2020. 30 years ago, I went to school here, and I studied international relations in one of the universities here in Washington, D.C. That's why this place is very, very memorable to me. Washington, D.C. is a city full of monuments. Like the one behind me is the Washington Monument, and in front of me is the Lincoln Memorial. And everywhere you go, right on this strip, you will run to a lot of free museums. It's a great place to study. It's a great place to learn about the history of the United States. It is a city that's very, very close to other cities on the East Coast. It took us 3 hours to come here from New York City. And you can also stay in a lot of hotels here in Washington, D.C. It's a good place to go to in the summer to enjoy with your family and the children. And you can show them a lot of the historical sites that are very, very relevant in American history. It is also a city where there are a lot of people from different cultures and different countries because of the many universities that are here. And the museums are not very close to each other, so it takes a lot of walking from one place to another. But they're all on the same strip. And of course, as an international city, there are a lot of different kinds of food here. It is also a city that is very clean, very, very clean, and very safe for tourists. This is one of the most important monuments here in Washington, D.C. This is the World War II Memorial. It's also especially moving for me because my father was a World War II veteran and he was part of the United States Armed Forces in the Far East. And he fought in the Pacific Theater during World War II. Unfortunately, he ended up in the Bataan Death March and also was a survivor of a concentration camp, a Japanese concentration camp in the Philippines. This is the National Air and Space Museum. It's another wonderful time to be here in 2019 because it's the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11. We went to the National Postal Museum, which showcased stamps from different eras. We went to the National Portrait Gallery, which had an exhibit on American presidents and also great men and women in American history. It was great to go to the Museum of Natural History, which had an exhibit on evolution. It was an honor to go to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It's the most powerful and moving museum I have ever visited. The exhibits remind us of the sacrifices made by African Americans throughout history so that we immigrants could celebrate our civil liberties to the fullest. But they also tell us that we have much work to do. Thank you for joining me on this trip to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. Traveling to different American cities and going to museums are a great way to learn English and also learn about American history that you are a part of. This is Mr. Bino from We Speak America.